This will be the 6-cycle oddball series, video number 23, and I'm going to show you a little bit about assembly. Not a whole lot, but it will make it a little simpler for you once you understand a few things, because this doesn't have a connecting rod cap that you can take off. So you have to put this together first, and this has to be in the cylinder when you do it, and this piece has to be on there too. So I'll show you what to do first to get the piston into the cylinder. What I always do is I make a little jig to do this with, because it's pretty hard to push this in there, and you might take it in 2 or 3 times, and it's a pain to have to push it in with your fingernails and a screwdriver and shove it down in there. So what I do is make a little jig, and all I do is take a slug of steel about 3/4 of an inch to an inch long, and I make it exactly the same size as the cylinder. And that's all you have to do. So we're going to put this in the lathe and turn it and get the piston to fit in there. So what I'm going to do is just chuck up this piece of steel and this slug that I had in the drawer and drill it out to almost 3/4 and then bore it to the exact cylinder size. That's got about a 3/8 hole, and we'll go in with a 7/16 to start. If we can get that to plow through there. I do this for every engine. It might seem like it's taking a lot of time, but actually it'll save you a lot of time in assembly. So it's well worth the work, because usually you have to take the piston in and out a few times. Okay, now we'll bore it out to the 3/4 size. Okay, there's the first cut. Got a nice smooth cut there. I'm going to measure that and see how much I have to take out. Okay, I have about 50 thousandths to go is all. So I'm going to take it out slowly. I'll go 10, that'll be 20. About 8 this time. I got about 10 to go. So I'm going to go 5. That'll take out, actually I'm going to go 4. That'll take out 8. Should be getting pretty close here. That piston shouldn't fit in there yet. It doesn't. I've got a few more thousandths to go, so it's about 6 thousandths to go. 1, 2, 3. Yep, that took out just about 3, so I got 2 to go. I'm just going to check the fit, make sure things are measuring right. Almost goes in there, so I'm going to just go 1,000th at a time. Okay, that just barely goes in there, but it's not loose enough. We've got to get it just a tiny bit looser. I'm going to go a 1/2 thou. There it is, nice fit. You want to be able to push it in there very easily. Okay, now I set this up here for 3 degrees. So I'm going to make a 3-degree cut, but I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom. I'm going to leave just enough so that the rings will fit in there and compress. So let's try doing about 5 thousandths at a time. Not going to the bottom of this. See if that's enough. Oh yeah, that's plenty. Well, see, I can push that, wiggle that and push that right in there. Once I polish that, it'll go in much easier. Take this edge off so I don't cut my finger. So now we've got the jig made. You can put the piston in there and you can see the rings fit in there real easy. And I can probably just pull this part way in like this. And you only have to pull it in so you got some skirt sticking out here. Then, if you put it in the piston, in the cylinder, and push it in, get a piece of wood here to push it. And there it is, it's right in there. I'll show you that again. So we just make sure you get it fits right in there like that. Push it in with your finger. You get some skirt sticking out. Whoop. Might put it in the right end here. And that should just push right down in there. I can do it with my finger. There it is. And it saves a lot of time when you're taking the engine apart and putting it together a few times to paint it and so forth. It takes a little time to make it, but it's well worth the effort because you save time in the end. What I do is I save these, and when I make the next one, I've already got the hole drilled through there, and I can just make it for a larger piston, so I don't throw that away or anything. Now I've got the piston in there. The next thing we got to do is put this piece on this way. Make sure it's on properly, and we're going to bolt it on there because you can't can't tighten those bolts once you put it together. Okay, now with that on there, we've got to put a little grease on this, and we're going to put it on here and then put the other flywheel on. Now I have an oil hole in this connecting rod, so I want to put that up. I'm going to put a little grease on that. Probably put it on the connecting rod journal instead of the journal, the connecting rod itself. It's much easier. So that's the way it goes. Now, I have to finish putting this together. Now I'm going to put the other flywheel on and start the nut on there. I'm not going to tighten this yet. Then we got to put the other side on. Now we can put these bolts in here loosely and then put the legs on it. So you see how that has to go. Just put some bolts into it. Now I'm going to put a few bolts on this because I have to take this apart again and paint it, but I just want to show you how this is the sequence you have to do this in. Now, as you can see, these bolts I have to cut off a little bit, and I think these two too. Yeah, I have to cut a little off the ends of those, but we'll just leave them for now. And then you would put these on. Now, you should have match marked these so you can get them on right. It goes one, goes there, if it's in perfect. And that's the sequence. And the rest of the parts it's very easy to put together. But that part, if you don't do this way, you'll run into trouble. So now I'm going to show you a little bit about what I do for painting these. So first you have to tape the areas that mate together. So if I want to tape that area in there, I'm going to take and put a little acetone on it. Make sure it's nice and clean, because we're going to powder coat this. You could do the same thing with paint too, but the tape that I use is different here. Very, very thin tape, and it's high temperature tape. So if I put that on there and shove it down in, I just use my fingernail to get it up into the crack. Now I'm just going to snip it off with a pair of scissors. So now, this is number one. It goes over here. I'm going to put that right on there and bolt it down. I'm going to punch a hole in it. Bolt that down tight, and what that'll do is make the tape stick really good. Now I just take a razor blade and slice that off of there, and when it's together you won't see that part under there isn't painted. It comes right off. Now the inside is a problem. I'll have to pull the cylinder off of there, which I think I can do without pulling the piston out. But see, if I had to pull the piston out, it wouldn't matter because I have that handy jig to push the piston back in with. It's not a big problem. Let's see how far I can get this out. Oh, that's no problem. You can just do that. Take the razor blade and run in here. Cut that piece off. I should have done both sides together. I just did one side, but I'm going to do the other side now. And then I'm going to show you powder coating this part. This acetone is really good for taking everything off, all the grease off and so forth. Wipe it on there and take a nice clean rag. Wipe it out. Just have to get this one on there. I don't have to put the other one on. And I always put the bolt through it and tighten it because that really sets the tape in really good. Tighten that right up. Slice the tape. As you can see, that tape is shoved in there real good and it's up the sides really nice. So I'm just gonna, you could just take an acetone rag. I just put it on with a brush like this and then wipe it off. That powder coat will stick even if there's a tiny bit of material on there, but I've cleaned these before, so they should be pretty clean. Okay, that's it. Okay, so I have a complete video on this powder coating rig, but I just want to show you how easy it is to run it. I have a regulator here that's set for the proper pressure for most jobs. All I have to do is plug the air in, and it goes up to about 11 pounds. That's pretty high, but I plug it in over here, and I have lights inside. I have a fan on the back. It's nothing but a little computer fan, and it pulls the air through a filter. And the fan is just enough to keep the dust from coming out. It all goes that way. Now, this is hung on a hook up here, and this hook is grounded, and I can turn the part around by spinning this. And that's the ground. And I have a pedal down here to turn it on. And just spray on the powder. As you can see, nothing's coming out here. Simple as that. At the bottom. Make sure I got this side here. I think it looks good. That's good. That's it. I gotta set the oven. I'm gonna give it about 30 minutes. It's up to, it'll go up to 400 degrees, and this powder coat cures 400. So some of them I got before were, I think, bring it up to 450 or 425, and then drop it down to 350 and let it cure for a half an hour. But this one, take this and just hang it in the oven here. I get most of my powders from Prismatic Powders. They come with this nice label on there, and the label actually tells you how much and how long and what temperature to cure them at. So what I do is I take the label off the bag, they sit in a plastic bag, and I stick it on here, and I always have the reference. And they're a very good company, and they have probably 1,000 colors. And they're fairly good at shipping. I would say it takes you about a week to get a color, and that's about it. I should also say, I only order a pound of this, of each color, because that'll do at least 2 engines. And you're going to have a collection of colors after a while, especially if you're doing small engines. It doesn't take much of this powder at all if you don't waste it. Okay, this is the finished part. As you can see, that powder coating has a beautiful gloss on it. It's still hot, but I could cool that off with water now, and it wouldn't hurt it a bit, and it would be hard as glass.
Nice.
It's a really nice gloss finish, and it's a really hard finish. And when I pull these tapes off of here, hopefully, yeah, it's still too hot. It'll be there'll be no powder coat in those spots. That's what I have to do today. I don't think there's any more things to show you on this. If anybody has any questions, you can email me. You do have to make a gas tank, and I have a gas tank video, and the video I made the gas tank for is for this type of engine. It's a round gas tank, and make it to that. And the only other difference is I've changed filters. I have found some filters that are quite reasonable. I don't have them here though, and I'll show that in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up. Thank you very much.